Yes, indeedy, folks. It's the Beer Drinker's Guide to the Great Wahoo!
And now, it's news time! Phenomenal bits of information from the forefront of what's going on.
Well, we have a couple of amazing pieces of news today. I came across one thing, and that is that we've discovered a new cloud. A new cloud, I can hear you asking? That's exactly what I was asking too. After all, we've only been looking at clouds for 10,000 years. You'd think that by now we would have seen them all. However, they've discovered a new one. It's been observed several times over the last few years. I don't know if this has anything to do with changing weather patterns or it just happens that we have been noticing it. But anyway, it has been added to the International Cloud Atlas. They have a thing called the International Cloud Atlas, and this new cloud has been added to that. The last time a new cloud was added to the International Cloud Atlas was in 1951. That was, 58 years ago was the last time that we came across a new cloud formation. That cloud formation was called Cirrus Intortus. That is, it was called that if I'm anywhere near knowing how to pronounce these scientific names. It was a beautiful cloud. The new one they've come across is called Undulatus, as in undulate. Undulatus probably is what it is. Asperatus. Again, now you know why I'm not a scientist. They actually know how to pronounce these things. Anyway, this new cloud is an undulating cloud that looks like an undulating sea seen from underneath. Fascinating, isn't it? The article I came across mentioned that the members of the International Cloud Appreciation Society are all agaga over this new cloud. The International Cloud Appreciation Society. Well, I had to go looking up what that was, because to tell you the truth, I think clouds are pretty fascinating too. Sure enough, there's a group in England called the International Cloud Appreciation Society. Their motto is that they're tired of people who are singing the praises of boring blue skies. They like clouds and they're proud of it, by Yiminy, and they are going to stand up to say, let's look at clouds and enjoy them, instead of have the weather people tell us, oh, tomorrow's going to be a cloudy day. That's bad. And tomorrow's going to be a sunny day. That's good. Because it's boring and dull and hot and sunny. And the weather sits around and we get inversions and we have to breathe crappy air. But it's a beautiful sunny day. And in the meantime, we have some clouds come over. They clean out the air. They make it so that we get precious water. And that's bad. Well, I guess you kind of know where my take is on this. And especially, folks, when we live in a desert. Why on earth is it when we live in a desert that people are always saying that sunny weather is good? Yeah, I like sunny, beautiful days too. But the bottom line is we need the water to keep our electricity inexpensive. We need the water so we can go skiing. We need the water so we can raise crops and eat. Plus, in the wintertime, when it is sunny out, the air is still, It's in the 20s or the teens. It's cold. It's costing more money to heat. And the air is stagnant, and we're sitting here suffocating. We are being bad for our lungs and our health. And yet, for some reason, sunny weather is always good and clouds are bad. I say hooey. I once had a friend come and visit from LA. He got off the airplane and he literally went out the front door of the terminal, and he stopped in his tracks and he says, "Oh my gosh, I had forgotten about clouds. They're beautiful. Go out and celebrate clouds." What about this new one, though? This undulatus asperatus. Well, here are some pictures of it. What gorgeous, gorgeous clouds. Aren't they just amazing? I'll tell you, I would love to see some of these clouds hanging over Boise one of these days. In the meantime, it only costs, well, it was £5, which is probably about $8 or $9, to join the International Cloud Appreciation Society. I think that's the International Cloud Appreciation Society. Go join up right now. Let them know not everybody is sold on this sunny skies nonsense. The second piece of information I came across, the second piece of news, is that there is a fungus that is now ravaging the rubber trees of the world. Apparently it's moving very quickly. It's very, very bad. I know it's difficult to believe we still get a lot of rubber from the latex that is in rubber trees, but that's what we do. And having this threat to our rubber supply is really a very, very challenging and dangerous thing. People have known for a long time that we can get latex from dandelions. However, in dandelions, when that sticky goo you get when you first pick a dandelion, when that first comes in contact with the air, it polymerizes. In other words, it turns gooey. That's not good, and it ruins the latex. Well, some people in Germany, some scientists in Germany, have come up with a way of switching off that enzyme that causes that latex to become gooey. Because of that, we can now get 500 times as much latex out of dandelions as we could before. So while you're out picking your dandelions, you might think, might be a cash crop here soon. And folks, if you like your dandelion wine, I'd suggest you get out early in the spring and get those crops in, because it won't be long before we have mad scientists running all over solving our latex problem by picking dandelions. It's time to drive Steens Mountain. Good old Oregon. It's known for the Willamette Valley and the coast. But out here on the eastern side of Oregon, there's a big hole that I always thought was just filled with desert. Lordy, was I ever wrong about that. There's some great country just waiting for a little 1 or 2 or 3 day drive right in our back door. A good excuse to go adventuring in this country is driving to the top of Steens Mountain. These Steens Mountains are the ones that you see off to the west as you drive from Winnemucca to Jordan Valley. Getting to the top of Steens Mountain itself can be rather difficult because of snow. For that reason, I decided to go in July of the year 2008.
On past episodes of Drive Steens, we've enjoyed Gentura, we spent a night in Diamond, and then we went driving up to Steens Mountain and down a very rough road on the way back. From there, we had lunch at Fields, and then we went on and almost ran out of gas before the gods of gasoline saved us at a Dell. What a foolish thing to do, something I had told myself I would never do again once I was past my 20s, but being a guy, it seems that I have to make a fool of myself every once in a while. Thank goodness I didn't have to walk. From Adele, we went down and explored the lovely little town of Alturas, and then headed back to Cedarville, which we saw in our last episode. Cedarville is a great town. It's got history. It's got beautiful parks. It's got a charming downtown. It's got a great little cafe where I saved half my meal. And, perhaps most important of all, it has a gas station. Even though my tank was pretty full, I topped it off because I was going to be driving across a lot of desert roads with no services for 100 miles. After noticing the warning sign, I took one last look just to make sure that that fuel gauge was where it belonged. I know it had only been 5 blocks since the gas station, but I had a long desert drive ahead of me. As we left Cedarville, we saw the dirt road that we were going to be driving wandering off into the hills. And then we began our drive. The valley that Cedarville is in is called the Surprise Valley. It seems this is the Surprise resource area. There might be those in our great land who would be surprised that you can drive for so long and see so few services. Here we are with Daneo still 91 miles away. There is an occasional ranch, just to remind us that there are people living within 100 miles. This is the DC line that runs from the Great Pacific Northwest, where there is a lot of hydropower, down to California. These lines were cackling. There's even some very highfalutin, modern, green energy. It's not too difficult at all to figure out when you're going to be meeting another vehicle on this countryside. Here, I'm about to pass a vehicle whose dust I first noticed, I don't know, some 5 or 6 miles away. The good folks who have put signs out in this country very thoughtfully considered putting this sign pretty much dead in the middle of where you can't get any services. Indeed, it says something about this drive that pretty well anywhere that there is a sign made by humans, that is enough of a reason to stop and take a picture because it's unusual. I decided it was time to enjoy the rest of my ham penne sandwich, which I had picked up at the Surprise Cafe in Cedarville. It was tasty. I also made note of my average speed on this rather excellent dirt road. And about the time I was thinking how good the dirt road was, I noticed that Washoe County doesn't necessarily think so. I must admit, I felt sorry for this little plant out in the middle of everywhere, so I thought that I would give it a bit of water. Finally, the roads begin to take on the long, sweeping curves that the map seems to indicate means we're approaching the paved highway. On one last look back, we see that it's been 66 miles of dirt road cutting across the upper northwest corner of Nevada. And once again, the paved road, I must admit, looks pretty darn comfortable. Frankie and Eddie have been buddies for ages and ages, ever since before grade school. They got together just this last week, and they were talking about the good old days, their days when they were playing ball together and when they were going out and chasing gals together. Of course, those days are all long behind them now. In the middle of the conversation, Frankie says to Eddie, he says, "Hey, Eddie, check this out. I went out and got Sally a little something special for this Christmas." Lord Almighty, was it special? It just about knocked Eddie right over backwards. "Oh my gosh," says Eddie. look at that ring. And it was some ring. The diamond on that puppy was just bursting. It was gigantimous. Eddie just couldn't believe it. Gosh, Frankie, he says, how on earth did you manage to buy that? My gosh, that is the biggest diamond. I didn't even know they came that big. Well, Frankie admitted, it was a bit of a stretch. You know, things have been kind of bad this last year, and well, I had paid down the Visa a little bit, and I must admit I shouldn't have, but gosh darn it, you know, I just love Sally so much. I just had to do something to make her a little bit cheery this year after the long, bad economic times. Even though I couldn't afford it, I decided to heck with it. I'm going to splurge. I'm going to get her something that'll make her real happy. Well, Eddie agreed this would probably do it. That is one darned impressive diamond. But then he got to thinking about it, and he kind of screwed up his face a little bit, and he says, but, you know, Frankie, I think that when we got together last time, Sally was really kind of hinting that what she really wanted for Christmas was a new Porsche. Oh, said Frankie, you noticed that, did you, Eddie? Well, you know, I thought about it, and I thought about it, and I even looked into it some. But, Eddie, where am I going to get a fake Porsche? And that's this week's Beer Drinker's Guide to the Great Wahoo. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you next week. In the meantime, keep celebrating the Great Wahoo!